Summer is peaking, but it's not the heat, it's the humidity, it's the moisture in the atmosphere, but it's also the amount of rain that's available to come down from the clouds here. So I'm not talking about a heat wave anymore, I'm talking about the threat for flooding rain, especially along the southern coast, the southwest interior, or even the mid-coast today. But really from the cold front, that trigger mechanism that's going to run into the remnants of Chantal and bring some of that moisture down from the clouds here. We've got a lot of moisture available in the clouds because the tropics are being tapped into. So we're going to see that today in the forecast. Also, what you're going to see the next day or so is a lowering of the humidity of the dew point at ground level. Okay, it's not just, let's talk about the clouds for a second. Let's talk about what you actually feel, because we don't live in the clouds, right? It's important for the forecast about how much moisture is coming out of the clouds, but where we are at ground level, we've got dew points in the 70s today. However, you'll notice here, you're going to see the dew point come down with dry air coming down at ground level, especially down east, over towards the Penobscot Bay, the mid-coast, and in the county too. However, in southern Maine and the southwest interior, there is still going to be dew point around. However, we'll take 60s for dew points instead of mid-70s, right? But this is a look at the next couple of days, next 48 hours. There is relief coming to the humidity. That's the point I wanted to get across to you. Okay, now let's talk about the rain here. You've got your trigger mechanism, which is going to be the cold front that's coming through today down from the north. Now, this is not a cold front that you're going to see a completely sunny day and dry air, kind of like you'd see in the fall. This is more of a messy cold front here. It's running into that moisture from the south here. So this front is not going to bring a widespread relief for the whole state. It's going to be kind of a split state situation, which you see from the cold front here, which is basically now just about stationary, right? This time of the year, there's not a lot of forcing from the north to bring these fronts clear through. So what you get instead are fronts that just kind of hang out along the coastline. They get stuck on the weather highway. However, dew points in the 50s, way up in the county, 60s, Central Highlands, and you've got 70s down to the south here, where all of that rich, abundant moisture is at the ground level, but also up in the clouds too. And it's important for the forecast to talk about that. Now, looking at what's going on radar, notice here, there's not a lot of precip yet. However, if I zoom into southern Maine, you are going to see thunderstorms begin to pop up here over the next several hours. Here, let me change this to a brighter color, okay? But where you see the heat advisories in Dover, Portsmouth, Hampton, Nashua, that is where the threat for rain is lower because you've got the heat. Or at least I should say it will get hot before the rain opportunity. But where you don't see the colors, okay, where you see everything is all clear on radar, that is where the rain is going to be breaking out. Heat advisories have expired there because we're going to get into some rainfall pretty soon. So let's take a look at it now in the hour by hour so I can show you that. You see here, this is going to reset and we'll get into Tuesday midday. You're fine until about 11 to noon. And then in Cumberland County, southern Oxford County, the Oxford Hills, the southwest interior, Shapley, Wells, okay, Acton. And notice here, this goes into tonight, but most of Maine is dry except for Cumberland County, York County, and southern Oxford County. That's where the primary focus mechanism is going to be as you see that cold front interacting with that moisture up in the clouds. Okay, that's where it's going to be very humid today, and that's where you'll get your torrential downpours and the threat for flash flooding. Now, this is not a major threat for flash flooding, but it is a threat, nevertheless, that you could certainly see 1, 2, 3 inches of rainfall in southern Maine today. So watch out, Portland metro area, especially later on tonight. Now, let's get into the forecast in more detail. Flash flood threat to the south. We're clear and cooler to the north and down east today. Threat for rain has gone down, and the weekend looks good. Okay, look at Aroostook County there at the airport. A nice clear sky, right? Especially if you're looking towards the north. And in Lewis and Auburn, Portland, you've got clouds. Now, this is not going to be a severe day as far as the thunderstorms go, they're just going to put down a lot of rain and some lightning. This is not as much of a wind threat as we had, although I could certainly see some thunderstorms having enough energy, be dynamic, to put down some wind gusts that are likely going to be below severe criteria. So more like 40 or 45 miles an hour instead of up around 60 or 65. Still, got to watch out for limbs coming down on a car or on you if you're out walking the dog today. Okay, so here's the forecast for the mountains the next 10 days, right? 72, mostly cloudy. I've taken the rain out of the forecast there. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, though, there will be on and off showers, okay? And especially Thursday, the best opportunity there, and early Friday for some downpours with that. But temperatures are coming down. Now for the weekend, 80, 81. Humidity, I've kept it low enough in the mountains where I don't have the muggy meter going off the charts here, but it's still going to feel a little bit like summer, obviously, anytime it's July and you've got 80s around. There will be some humidity, but it's not going to be zero, just not going to be, full tilt humidity. Now, inland, rain is to the south, so it's around Augusta south, and even really farther south of Augusta. I really expect Portland, Lewiston, Auburn, okay, to see the biggest threat for rain today. Now, it's not going to rain all day, but when it does, if you get caught one of these thunderstorms, and even without lightning, okay, you're going to have a torrential amount of rain, because I talked about the amount of moisture available in the atmosphere, and there's a lot in southern Maine, okay? The clouds, there's a lot of moisture up there because of Chantal. It is bringing the tropical moisture. Tropical downpours are a lot different than regular garden variety pop-up showers, okay? Tropical downpours put down 1, 2, or 3 inches of rainfall in about an hour. That's a lot, okay? So watch out, and that's why there's a flash flood threat. Now, for the weekend, we're mostly dry. I don't expect it to be a completely dry weekend for 48 or 50-something hours, but this looks pretty good by our weekend standards. It looks fantastic right at the coastline. Now, is it going to be humid this weekend? Of course. It's the middle of July. It's supposed to be humid, right? But is it going to be like it was, like it is today, or like it was a couple days ago, or even last week or so? No, it's not going to be 95 and humid. It'll be 77 and humid. So it's a lot more tolerable. The threat for heat illness has gone down significantly anytime humidity is not met with temperatures in the 90s. So that's the forecast for Maine. I thank you for watching. Jason, happy weather.